On Monday, a federal judge indicated that Sidney Powell and other lawyers who are representing Donald Trump could be sanctioned for the lawsuit they filed in Michigan claiming election fraud. There was a hearing. I think it went for 6 hours. I can't do anything for 6 hours. I mean, I might be able to sleep for 6 hours, but that's about it. So this judge grilled them for 6 hours, and she was not happy about it. She seemed to be indicating that she might be willing to grant sanctions against them for this lawsuit that they filed in Michigan. You could tell the judge was kind of irritated with all this when at one point in the hearing she referred to the evidence that they had filed as fantastical, which I'm pretty sure that's not a positive word, even though it sounds like it, because fantastic and then fantastical. So the federal judge was Judge Linda Parker, and she is the one who dismissed the lawsuit that had been filed by Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood alleging election fraud. She dismissed that in December in Michigan with a scathing 36-page opinion and ruling. So Sidney Powell, she'd filed this lawsuit, the Kraken, alleging election fraud, voter fraud, that the election should be overturned, suing election officials in Michigan. That was dismissed by the judge in December. Then they filed a motion asking for sanctions against the lawyers, Sidney Powell and others, and that's why we're having this hearing. We're going to take just a very quick look at the motion for sanctions that was filed in January. So here's the motion. If you take a look at it, Defendant Whitmer and Benson's motion for sanctions. And basically here, if you look at the motion, they were asking for sanctions because they are saying that Sidney Powell and others unreasonably and vexatiously multiplied the proceedings in this litigation by failing to dismiss the case when their claims became moot, which plainly occurred upon the vote of Michigan's electors on December 14th. And the second reason was because they are saying that plaintiffs' counsel knew or should have known that their legal claims were frivolous. What kind of a claim would be frivolous? I don't know, let's say like you were attorneys for Bill Cosby and you filed something saying he should be set free. That is a bad example. Okay, that was a bad example. But frivolous doesn't mean you lose or you have a loser argument or it isn't the best. Frivolous is like you've got no chance whatsoever. So, and it's a legal definition. It's a legal term. So, but just don't be thinking that if someone is going to lose or they don't have the best arguments, that means it's frivolous. That is not what frivolous means. Some of you believe me, some of you don't. Okay. So during the hearing, the judge, she was basically expressing skepticism for almost the entire 6 hours over the evidence that they'd filed for election fraud. At one point, when she was talking about one of the affidavits, she said was based on levels of hearsay, and talking about another affidavit, she said that it was so speculative as to be fantastical. Oh, that's where she used that word. Basically, the judge didn't believe that Sidney Powell and others had done any due diligence when it came to filing this lawsuit and the sworn affidavits. She said that she had heard nothing to suggest that the lawyers had done their minimal duty that any attorney has in presenting a sworn affidavit. Well, Lynn Wood, he also was in attendance via Zoom, and he was trying to distance himself from this, what had been filed in Michigan, as much as he could. He said, I played absolutely no role in the drafting of the complaint. And then he doubled down on trying to distance himself even more when later he said, I did not review any of the documents with respect to the complaint. And then he says, I just had no involvement in it whatsoever. I don't know, when Lynn Wood is like, oh man, that stuff's wild and weird, I had nothing to do with that. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign when Lynn Wood thinks it's out there, Anyway, but they weren't really believing him. I think they cited some of his social media postings yeah, sure you didn't look at This is the kind of stuff you were saying. So anyway, but he was trying to distance himself from it as much as he could. So at one point, Linwood even said, like, I didn't even know my name was going to be on it. So the judge, she did not issue her ruling. She gave them 2 more weeks to file more documents. And after 2 weeks, she should be issuing her ruling. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, with Sidney Powell, all I remember is when she first had a press conference and she was, showing everybody the Kraken, talking about the Kraken. I was interested to see what she was going to say. My interest level was like, wow, let's see. And as she continued to talk, I got oh no, she doesn't, this seems a little bit. And then when she said Hugo Chavez, that's when I thought, oh boy, okay. I don't know what is going on here, but this doesn't seem, I think of it at that point, I think even Donald Trump was like, she doesn't represent me anymore. Like, she's not part of our team anymore. So even at that point, anyway, we'll wait and see. So what's going to happen? Well, I would think if they could find some legitimate claims in the complaint and some affidavits that are legitimate, then it should be non-frivolous, right? But if all they find are frivolous things that were said, we might be looking at sanctions here for Sidney Powell. As you may recall, Rudy Giuliani in New York, he's been suspended from practicing law. And I think the New York bar had said he made false statements with respect to the Donald Trump election fraud claims. So that happened to Giuliani in New York. We'll see what happens here with Sidney Powell. I don't know if we're going to start seeing lots of different state bars hammering people who represented Donald Trump or not. We'll see. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.